Hi, I'm Elizabeth Tricassi, life and productivity coach with a clean slate. And I want to thank all of you who reached out to me after last week's video with your feedback. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I do not have an update on the surgery, so I will keep you posted on that. But what I did want to share is what came up while I was creating this video. And what I'm calling that are 3 common scheduling saboteurs. And there are lots of scheduling saboteurs, but these 3 specifically, I bumped up against creating the video. So I want to share with you, see if any of it resonates. The 3 that I'm specifically going to talk about are arbitrary dates, underestimating the time it takes to do a task, and perfectionism. So first, the arbitrary date. When I first decided to create this video series, I thought, how hard could that be? Which is a thought process I often have, and it often gets me into trouble. But I thought, I record a video, I upload the video, I send the video, done. Yeah, no, not that easy. So I set my date based on that information, which was almost no information. It was my assumptions. And that date was in jeopardy. And I had a choice. I could either stick to that date or I could push the date. And so one of the questions I ask myself is, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen if I push that date? And since nobody knew about it, it wasn't a deadline that anybody was holding me to, except me. Nobody knew about it, except now you, since I've just shared it with you. But that's after the fact, so it doesn't count. I decided, push the date, of course, push the date. But the other question that came up for me in making that decision was the underestimating of time that it took. So now that I knew better how many tasks were required and how much time it was going to take to complete those tasks, the other question I asked myself is, what am I sacrificing to meet this date? For me, what that meant is I was going to have to work longer hours than I had originally anticipated and miss or compromise some other commitments that I had already made. And that didn't sound very appealing. That really wasn't an option for me. So it became a no-brainer, push the date. I think one of the things that we sometimes forget or we think is synonymous is quick and easy. And sometimes a task can be really easy, but it's not necessarily quick, and that can get us into trouble. I don't know, can you relate to that? Do you sometimes think, oh, I'm just going to make this quick phone call before I dash off to a meeting, and that phone call ends up taking longer? It's really common. And so it's a good opportunity to just stop, give ourselves a little bit of a break. But the third thing that came up for me was perfectionism. And as a recovering perfectionist, maybe some of you can relate to this, I sometimes have to stop and rein myself in. From the time I conceptualize something to the time I deliver it, there can sometimes be a disconnect. And I know for me, sometimes it's better to get things done and have things good enough than strive for it to be perfect. Does this sound familiar to you? Are you a recovering perfectionist also? And you're like, yes, I know exactly what you mean. Or perhaps you are still a perfectionist. And when you hear me say good enough, it just makes you cringe a little. I don't know what comes up. I would love to know what tips or tricks or questions you have that help you check yourself and help keep yourself on schedule and keep from being too stressed or overwhelmed. I'd love for you to share. And we're all in this together, right? We're all learning together. And I love learning new ways to do things. I love sharing what I know. So until we meet again, enjoy your journey. Thanks. Bye.